Okay. Woo. Angel Snubbing Up 7 News. We're going to do a little news today. If you don't know me by now, I'm the mighty one, Angel Snubbing Up 7. And this, of course, is the reality's temple on earth. We're going to do a little news commentary real quick. Number one, the legendary football player and actor known as Orenthal J. Simpson or O.J. Simpson passed today, transitioned today, died today at the age of 76. I believe it's 76. Of course, he was known to be a winner of the college, I think it's a college award. I don't keep it with sports. That college award called the Heisman Trophy. He went on to be an actor. And, of course, he's famous for probably one of the first most viewed trials ever on American television or anywhere around the world, really. When he was accused of murdering his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman. I don't know whether that man is innocent or he's guilty, but in a court of law that these folks claim that they have respect for, of which clearly they don't, because they cannot accept the fact that a jury found that man not guilty. And when you look at the evidence, the prosecution simply did not prove their case. If it don't fit, you must acquit. May he also rest in peace, our brother, Johnny Cochran. What I remember about O.J. Simpson, he also had a starring role in Roots. And I watched that as a child. But of course, again, that famous court trial in 1995. Some of you probably wasn't even born or was just babies in 1995. So I just wanted to bring that up because many of you, and O.J. Simpson is a fixture and was a fixture in the sole African American black community. Trying to rush my words because I don't want this to be a long, drawn out talk. Now, our main topic is, it was brought to my attention that the Nation of Islam's lawsuit, the lawsuit, defamation lawsuit, filed by the Nation of Islam, whose leader is the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, against the Anti-Defamation League. I don't know if that also includes the Jewish Defense League. I think they're the same. I don't really know. $4.5 billion. You can sue somebody for $300 trillion. It means nothing if you don't win. If you can't win. Now, I am experienced in the criminal side, also in the civil side of American law. So I want to talk about or answer the question, or we can speculate because we really don't know. Because I know how the law is written, and in this country, everything is racially motivated. You're always gonna have racism in it. Now, of course, if we win, we don't make that claim because you won. So in this country, it's hard to determine whether or not something happened because it was racially motivated, whether you win or whether you lose. Now, from me, I'm not a lawyer, but from my experience, I knew from the jump that chances are this case would get tossed out. It would get dismissed. Not because of Jews, simply because these types of cases, it's a high standard of the person who's making the accusation. It's a very high standard that the court put you on, that you can prove that somebody damaged you, brought you some type of harm. And I saw some of the writings in this case, and they did not even mention malicious intent. You have to show in some kind of way how you was harmed. And the Nation of Islam, if they were going to do this, in my opinion, it should have been done probably way back in the 1980s. But now, your bragging about your success actually harms your case. You cannot even say, well, because of the Anti-Defamation League, we had thousands of people coming to our meetings. But now, because of the lies of the Anti-Defamation League, now we only have 30 people coming to our meeting. You cannot even say that. You bragging how successful and how Allah is blessing you. So what type of damage have you suffered by the words of the Anti-Defamation League? This is your problem. How are you hurt? How are you harmed? And you cannot claim that you harm when you're doing so well. Also, it's an uphill battle because you're fighting actually the right freedom of speech of the Constitution. Because you might say some words, and to you, it don't mean too much, but for them, they view it as anti-Semitic. As far as they're concerned, that's how they look at it. You might not see it that way, but they do, and they have the right under freedom of speech, like you had the right to say what you said. They have the right to interpret your words and say that's anti-Semitic. So how does their interpretation cause you harm? Because you said in the past, or you said these words. And that's the problem here. Now, of course, it could be racially motivated that they tossed it out. That's a possibility. But for somebody with experience, because I have filed different cases, these courts, it's a high bar. And if you can't even put it in writing, because you haven't even presented any evidence yet, if you cannot even put it in writing, there's a problem if the court don't accept it. And many courts, when you go on the federal level, those cases, a lot of them get tossed out. You would have a better chance to go to small claims court and file your case more so than the federal court. Federal courts, these state courts, well, the state court, that's small claim. Federal courts, they throw a lot of cases out every year. It's a high bar. Now, you can go to small claims, and if you just want a victory to prove your point, in small claims, they might listen to you. They might. And a lot of times, the small claims, if it's not about money, you're not looking for no money, you could get you just want to prove a point, they can take care of that for you. Now, there was a case in the YouTube universe where we had Tahaka Bay and Tariq Nasheed in court for real. There's a lot of folks out here, I'll take you to court, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to do this. These guys actually went to court. Now, I noticed there was no money involved. Tariq did not say, even though Tariq was the winner, he did not mention about winning any money. There was no, for us, I know, there was no monetary award. So, but what happened was, Tariq proved a point, and the point is, see, out here in YouTube land is one thing. When you go to court, all that talking of what you think and blah, blah, it's a whole different ball game. I know a lot of you get high. You get high and you think you know a lot on social media. You're a teacher. But when you go to court, it's a whole different ball game. Your teaching don't stand up too high. Your teaching. And it's real because I've done a Google search and I don't see those videos. All those videos that Tahaka Bay made about Tariq Nasheed, he had to take them down or suffer the consequences. That's the difference between YouTube and going to court. And Tahaka Bay don't want to risk losing a whole lot trying to be bad and tough. I noticed when I started talking about suing folks, they start leaving you alone. Nobody wants to go through that. If whatever you calling me, you slandering and lying on my name, these folks don't want to go to court because most of them are just children lashing out, running their damn mouth. But you got to go to court and there's a chance that you can lose some money. Is a whole different ball game. But again, I sort of knew, and I believe that the Nation of Islam, I have to say I believe because I don't know, because this case should have been filed years ago. It was a publicity stunt. I didn't even see out here where the members was actually happy or whatever. We gonna do this and we gonna win. They weren't even talking about the case. And now that it has got thrown out, I very doubt they're gonna talk about it. Because when you lose, nobody want to talk about when they lose. So they're not even gonna bring that up. Don't want to talk about it no more. The only thing they can do now is appeal. Which I doubt they're going to appeal. That's a waste of time. Just so the court can say that the lower court got it right. They're not even going to appeal. That was the whole waste. To me, it was more so of some type of publicity stunt. That should have been done way back in the 80s, early 90s, if you was going to do something like that. And while we're talking about the courts being racially motivated, in my opinion, these courts are also politically motivated. And the example is what I see with Donald Trump facing all these different charges and whatever. I think that's political. I think this is all of an attempt to try to keep that man from getting into the White House again. It's all politically motivated. I've never heard of a judgment against a person and they go all out their way to make this person pay. Here I am. Somebody owed me. I won an almost $3,000 judgment. I won a $200 judgment. Ain't nobody, none of these courts is fighting to give me my money, to get me my money. But they going all out their way. We're going to not garnish, but we're going to get the title. I forgot what the legal word is. We want to get possession of his properties. He's going to pay this money to this person. I mean, going all out their way. I've never seen this done. O.J. Simpson just passed. I never heard of them going all out their way to try to get the money for that civil lawsuit that he lost to the Brown family. But Donald Trump, you got to have this. We're going to take all this, whatever. Politically motivated. So in this country, you're dealing with these courts. Courts supposed to be for justice. And there's another thing. I'm going to say this and get out of here. See, the thing about when you sue people, to my knowledge, you're not supposed to be able to sue a person to the point where they cannot take care of themselves. To go through what Donald Trump is going through. But again, this is political. And that's their business. It's none of my business. I have nothing to do with that. But I see what's going on here. It's politically motivated. But that's how it is in this country. I thought that white folks love each other. I mean, that's what I hear from the blackity black folk. White people, united. This is a perfect example that they're not as united as you believe. They've never been united like that. Now, they will be united if a foreign power comes against this nation. They'll forget all this and deal with the problem. And then they go right back to this kind of stuff against each other. They can come together in order to do something that benefits them as a whole. You and I have not learned that. We're so petty, non-thinking, selfish. We have not learned this. These folks don't like each other like that. But they know how to, they've learned. Anybody with kind of sense, see, you don't have any damn sense. Because it's all about what you personally, and the thing about it is, you get nothing, and you happy with nothing. And you don't mind being nothing. You don't mind being on the damn bottom. Because you mad and you angry and you upset. This is the reason why I talk about, because black men are supposed to be the leaders. And you're childish, and you're emotional, and you're silly. You're never going to go nowhere. That's why I talk about men the way that I do, because you're not acting like no man. We fall to pieces over anything that's petty, that's nothing. And so within the next 10 years, these other men, these new men coming across the border, your children going to be asking and begging them for a job. And your children going to have to learn Spanish. Sí, señor. It's your fault. Because you're not men. Childish, silly, emotional. You only try to be tough among your own. And your children gonna pay the price. I'll be shamed. If I was a child right now, I'll be ashamed to call you daddy, father, because you're not. I call you what you are, sperm donors. That's what you are, sperm donors. No more, no less, breeders. You are below men. Boys, physically men, with your beards and your hair and your ding-a-ling. But you're not men. You won't stand for yourself. Silly ass people. That was a waste of time. Oh, I know what else I wanted to add. To show how silly we are. It was a brother. He calls himself a Pan-African nationalist, whatever the hell that is. This is how we think. He won't come back here and talk. I didn't do nothing to you. We just asked you some questions. I'm going to Africa to put on a show. That's why I'm going to Africa. I'm putting on a show. Get to know my people. You a damn tourist. And so now they've come back. They've come back to their home, America. And one of the first things they do when they come back home to America, they begging for money and they crying about their meeting place. They need to make the mortgage or they need to pay the rent because their meeting place is in trouble. Your ass was in Africa. You knew that you did not pay the rent. The mortgage, you already knew that. If you didn't take your ass to Africa to put on this show, you would have the money for your rent or the mortgage for your meeting place. How? That's embarrassing to me. That might not be embarrassing to you. Your priorities is messed up. If you know you have to pay your rent or the mortgage, why would you go on some kind of vacation to Hawaii? That's your rent money. But see, we need to put on this show. And who are you trying to show off in front of? Because most people don't give a damn about you and Africa. They don't give a damn. So who you trying to prove? What you trying to prove? Actually, you out here in the public, the news. I wish the news was better. And I would hope that the Nation of Islam would win. But I also know from my own experience, I already knew that chances are that was going to get tossed out. But we try to be positive. It's very difficult to be positive when you live in a country that is racist. It's very difficult to be positive when you know the people that you're dealing with ain't real. Like we talked about last night. There's a difference between black people and the N-word. And until we become black people or real foundational black Americans or whatever, black Americans, and stop being the N-word, we're not going to go anywhere. Except down. And since we already down, I'm Angel. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.